Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lern the Conjurer and I am your host of all things spooky, creepy, and fun. This is a brand new segment that I thought of while we are going through the sad ending of Halloween. Who am I kidding? Halloween is year round. It's a lifestyle, I'm here to tell you. In between the spooky season, I decided it would be really fun if I read to you true, terrifying, strange, unexplainable, and unsolved cases. I've decided to call these Bedtime Haunts, which I realize is probably backwards with what you guys are seeing, but you get it. There you go. Oh my goodness. You want to be in the video too? This is my dog, Dot. She is still wearing her spooky collar because, of course, spooky is all year round. Do you want to stay for the story? Look at the camera. Okay, now that I bribed my child, back to business. In each episode, I'll be sharing with you a true unsolved tale that still to this day baffles the minds of everyone who knows it. This might be a tale that you've heard of before, or it might be completely new to you. Either way, it's definitely a bedtime tale that will keep you up at night. If you would like the references to these unsolved tales, they'll be in the show description down below. Now let's get into our first tale. This bedtime haunt is titled The Incident at Daytlov Pass. I might be mispronouncing that, and if I am, I'm really sorry. On the first night of February 1959, 9 ski hikers died mysteriously in the mountains of what is now Russia. The night of the incident, the group had set up camp on a slope, enjoyed dinner, and prepared for sleep. But something went wrong because the group never returned. On February 26, searchers found the hikers' abandoned tent, which had been ripped open from the inside. Surrounding the area were footprints left by the group, some wearing socks, some wearing a single shoe, some barefoot, all of which continued to the edge of a nearby wood. That's where the first 2 bodies were found, shoeless and wearing only underwear. The scene bore marks of death by hypothermia, but as a medical examiner inventoried the bodies, as well as the other 7 that were discovered over the months that followed, hypothermia no longer made sense. In fact, the evidence made no sense at all. One body had evidence of blunt force trauma, consistent with a brutal assault. One had been vomiting blood. One was missing a tongue. Some of their clothing was found to be radioactive. Theories floated included KGB interference, drug overdose, UFOs, gravity anomalies, and the Russian version of the Yeti. Recently, a documentary filmmaker presented a theory involving a terrifying but real phenomenon called infrasound, in which the wind interacts with the topography to create a barely audible hum that could nevertheless induce powerful feelings of nausea, panic, dread, nervousness, raised heart rate, and breathing difficulties. The only consensus remains that whatever happened involved an overwhelming and possibly inhuman source. If ever there was a surefire way to whip up rumors and conspiracy theories, this was it. The conclusion was vague. The evidence was under lock and key. There were too many questions left unanswered. Why, for example, did the skiers flee the relative safety of their tent? Why did they leave their belongings, including warmer clothing, behind? Why did some of them simply freeze to death, while some others showed signs of internal trauma? Who or what removed the tongue of one of the victims? The question that I really ask, to be perfectly honest with you. Why were there traces of radiation on their clothing? The case to date remains unsolved. What a weird one, right? Personally, I had never heard of this before. I only have heard of horror stories about skiers or hikers going into a snowy mountain and then, tragedy strikes by an avalanche, or they run out of food, they get lost, they freeze to death, they eat each other. I have heard horror stories before, but not one quite like this. I think the most perplexing thing, besides the tongue missing from one of the victims, is why was there radiation on their clothes? I haven't done any formal research on it, but this was before Chernobyl. It was in 1959. And if there were more radioactive plants that were around in Russia, perhaps there could have been a little bit of runoff for them. But even then, in the mountains? And guys, what about the tongue? And also feel free to tell me how terrible I am about pronouncing Russian words. I'm not perfect. This was a great one, but don't forget that there are plenty more where that came from. You have a mysterious tale or a mysterious case that remains unsolved. Tell me about it in the comments, and I'll be happy to cover it in a future episode. If you enjoyed this series, feel free to go ahead and hit that like button, and please consider subscribing to my channel. I hope you enjoyed this bedtime haunt. Pleasant screams.